So we're doing this job for a quality contractor, and they're doing this development with over 55 housing, and they're duplexes. So we wire up the duplexes, and we finished off one side of one of the duplexes, did the rough wiring, and then we go back for the finish, where you put in all the plugs, switches, and the ceiling lights, and whatever else that has to be done for the final. And they usually do one side at a time. So we roughed out, we would rough out the whole building. So we'd rough out both units, and then they'd have one would come together before the other. I think it's really about, when something comes under agreement, then they move forward. So anyways, they had this second unit, and get a call, we're ready for the finish. So I would go out to the job, and I would do a device count, check the job out, so when we show up on the job with a few guys, that we move right through the unit, be in and out of there as quick as possible. So we get the full count out and everything, determine what device color, because device colors aren't the same anymore. So there's white, light almond, ivory, probably get other colors if you really wanted to. So I get out, I see the project manager there, and it's like, check out the unit, we'll be in here, next couple days, we'll punch this out for you. So I walk into the unit, and I don't know how anyone didn't pick up on this, but I could not find an open device box. The place was plastered, and there were no devices. I couldn't even find light fixtures. It was just like one big white out square room without any plugs, switches, or lights. And to the life of me, I don't know why nobody said, "Hey, where are all the electrical openings?" Right? So I'm like, "Hey, Rob, what's up with this?" Right? So come to find out that they had actually did a different insulation install in this unit. So the first one we did, I don't see what they do for insulation. We put all our lines in, we fireproof our, penetrations and stuff, and then we're gone. Get a call back, we're ready for the finish, you get there. So the first one, they used just standard, pink fiberglass insulation. On the second unit, they used this new stuff, and it was I guess, we could tell what it was, because when we started opening up the walls to find all these devices, it's a black plastic. They staple it on. It's like a shield, and then what they do is they put in a blown-in insulation, that just drops into the cavities. So I guess what happened was they came in and put this insulation barrier in, and then they would do the installation. And then when the drywallers came in, it's like you on a regular insulated install job is the installers cut around devices and stuff so you can see the device. This vinyl or plastic sheet, that membrane that goes on the walls, just goes over everything. So these drywallers, they came in and they just put up their drywall, and the tapers, they came in, taped up, and skim coat guys came in, put their skim coat on. Nobody questioned whether there was an electrical outlet anywhere. Amazing. So turns out this is going to be an extra, and and I have no idea how this is going to work out. It's plugs and switches. You get a good idea where you might find them. Plugs are going to be at the right height all around. Switches the right height, right? And then finding light fixtures, center of the room. Okay, we can do that. We can find the center of the room. And then what ended up being a real bitch was finding the smoke detectors, because they can end up anywhere, really. So smoke detectors were a real problem. Finding recessed lights that were not in a good row. like you have an independent recessed light, in a hallway or something like that, and it's like, oh, it's right here. Nope, bang, it's like it was the biggest nightmare job. We were there 2 weeks uncovering devices. So I don't know, like, if anyone else ever has a problem like that. A device buried here or there. Yeah, happens. Yeah, the whole house. Is it even possible? Yes, it's possible. It's unbelievable, but it's possible. So if if you run into anything like that, I don't know, because you had other jobs that are dead ahead of this job. So it's like, it's not like it does you any favors having extras like that, because it's like all it does is get you delayed on everything ahead of that when it's this type of work, because like you're going from one job to another job. So I don't know, like, double, triple the cost. I still don't think it's worth it. So it might be a good idea to, if you're doing work for somebody that does this, new residential construction, maybe even commercial construction, is if maybe do a stop in every once in a while before they drywall, or while they're doing the work, and find out like what methods they're using, see if it's going to interfere with what you're doing for an install, because having the extra work in this manner is just not, it doesn't pay. It just does not pay to have that as a problem. Because believe me, it's not like it was our fault, right? It's not like the electricians buried everything, right? But like when someone comes into the home and they see all these holes, because you're looking for stuff, right? They say like, where are these holes from? And they don't say like, oh, the drywall is screwed up, they covered everything. No, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, oh, that's from the electrician, right? But like, so like, and I think the conversation would end there. So it's like, oh, that's from the electrician. It's like, oh, unless the person's inquiring, like, oh, so why would an electrician do that, right? Why would somebody do that? Yeah. So I don't know. Glad that job's well behind in the past, and I haven't run into something like that since. So hope you don't either.